Are you and what do you do? Who are you and what do you do? Some have come in and pivoted. So a lot of people come in to this community, come into a package, come into a course, come into coaching, and through the coaching, they realize that, I thought I did this. I thought my sweet spot was this. See, I have a master's degree in coaching, but I was going to speak. That was my thing. Speaking, flying. I love flying. I love touching people from large groups of people in a small amount of time. That was my thing. I was coaching before that, and I was like, okay, let me pivot because I can speak to 20,000 people in a room and make a nice bag, enjoy flying, put up in a nice hotel, company car, beautiful. But Corona had different plans for me. Corona had different plans. So out of the speaking, back into the coaching. Still speaking, but this is definitely different from a stage. So I want you to think, who are you? What do you do? Base what you do on who you are. Don't base who you are on what you do. That's backwards. That's backwards. A lot of times when people speak to you and they'll ask you, who are you? The first thing you'll say is what you do. Well, I'm a coach. I'm a consultant. Well, so is 100 million other people, especially now. So what makes you unique is your story, your experience. And we'll get into that in a moment. But I just want you to think realistically, who are you and what do you do? Remember, we're talking about the designs for 2021. Who are you? And then let's go deeper. Who is your ideal client? Now, your ideal client best practices should be based on who you are. Who you are will determine who your ideal client is, because every client is not ideal. All money is not green. Some is worse. Sometimes you want to pay people to move away from you as opposed to accept their money and accept them into your intimate circles. So ask yourself, based on who you are, based on what you do, who is your ideal client? See, I'll speak to somebody and they'll say, well, I want to work with women. Okay, there's a whole lot of women out here. I mean, there's a whole lot of women out here. So what does that mean? If you cast a net, you can't even cast the net that wide. I work with women who. That's not decisive enough. That's not niched down enough. As a matter of fact, there may be some people that don't even fit that category that will come to you when you say, I work with women. But if you say, I work with Black women who work in the C-suite, who recently left college, or who's having their first child, or who's wanting to move into the entrepreneurial space, now you're talking to one person. See, now you're becoming niched. Now you're becoming defined. So we're talking about your messaging. We're talking about your marketing. I speak to one person and you want to speak to one person. You might have came into 2020 with a real big net. You look at a whale's mouth, like the whale's mouth is huge. They'll take anything. You want to focus. You want to focus, you want to have clarity. It's sort of like a laser beam focus. It's a big difference. And I know there's some people who say, well, if I niche down, aren't I going to miss? Aren't I going to miss? No, actually, what you find is when you hone in on that one vein, when you hone in on that one gold vein, that's the gold rush. That's the gold rush, because when you become clear and when your messaging becomes clear so that they hear you, game over. Game over. They appreciate you because nobody really speaks to them. Everybody just hustling. Everybody just trying to get money in these internet streets. Like there's no respect, no rules. It's like the wild, wild west. Everybody just doing what they do, going about their business, and there's no rules. So when you come and speak to one person at one time for one objective, which is to help them, oh, they want to talk to you. They appreciate being talked to. And the bag gets that much bigger because now you're not a generalist. Now you become a specialist because you hone in on that one target market. That's different. Now you're not for everybody. Now you for somebody. Now you speaking to one person. So you begin to study that industry, study that client, study that craft. You know the 10 frequently asked questions. You're a specialist, and now you're a professional. So what happens? You get less discovery calls that are wrong, completely wrong fit, waste of time, long talk, no bread, no value, no understanding. And your prices can go up. Because now when they talk to you, you're not the emergency room. Now you're the specialist. Now they come into the doctor's office. Now they got a prescription. See, the generalist prescribes a prescription. Then they got to come see the specialist. And that's you. That's how you position yourself. We don't prospect. We position. We ain't got to go looking and knocking on doors. When we do the right thing and the right eyes come across it, that's a marriage. That's a match made in heaven. They don't have to go no further because they found you and you for them. And they was looking for you, and your message is clearer. You got one person in your audience. You ain't got Jack, Joe, Schmo, Tom, D, Harry. You know, it's different. It's different. So your client values that. They appreciate that. They feel appreciated. They feel well received. It's like they going home. This is the kind of experience that you provide for your client. Now, it's not just a service. Now, it's not just a thing that you do. Now it's an experience. A brand is an experience.